Hold up. Give me a second. Alright, Shalom. Before I do anything, I want to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect that is scattered abroad. And with that, this is Brother Samak coming at you with another lesson. Lord will, this is edifying. So, yeah, man. This lesson came to me yesterday. And, you know, I'm constantly talking. I'm constantly, thinking about it. And right now I'm at the plantation, but it's one of those things where, like the scriptures say, quench not the spirit. If it's in you, it's best to let it be out, and Lord will, it will edify the ones that come across it, and Lord will, this will be edifying to whoever needs it and comes across it. This lesson. But I think I did do a lesson on this before, but doing a lesson on it again because this is really key. It's like just not forgetting the goal, man. Seeking first the kingdom. So it's like, being with brothers and on the highways and byways, and we're out doing what we have to do. Preaching the word in season, out of season, with the brothers. We doing this to save ourselves, and we're doing this to also get out of here, to potentially get out of here, man. So it's like one of those things where it's like, it's good to be a part of this, and it's good to be with brothers and good guys, the sincere, everything like that. But it's the goal is to get out of here. And if your mind is not set on first getting out of here, it's one thing to think about, oh yeah, friends and everything like that, and it's one thing to do that, but it's another, like, to where you both have that same drive, that same mindset of, I need to do better, I need to do this, I need to do that. Even where it's like, say, oh yeah, you want to hang out, or you want to do this, you want to do that. There's gonna be times where you'll be like, nah, I'm gonna leave, and I'm gonna try to get better. I'm gonna try to study. I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna try to do that. Take some time off, and not literally take some time off. No, you're still doing this work. Of course, you're still on Saturdays. If you go out on Saturdays, go on Saturdays. You go on Tuesdays, go on Tuesdays, Sundays, whatever your day is that you go out. You do your due diligence, man. But at the same time, you're focusing on yourself. You're getting better, studying. You're constantly meditating on the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You're praying. You're fasting. You're doing this for the Lord, and you're not doing this for just to be a part of something. You're doing this. You're not doing this to just be like, oh yeah, I'm doing this because the guys, because that's honestly going in for the wrong reasons. So it's like, which it's not, again, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but at the same time it is, because in the long run, let's be honest here, man. You got to be selfish. You got to want this for yourself. You got to want this for yourself. So it's like, and let me get some scriptures real quick. Salakia. Just the key thing is wanting it for yourself. I could just start there. Seek ye first the kingdom. Yeah, straight to the point. It says, Matthew chapter 6 and verse 33, it says, "But seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High, Yahweh, and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Take no thought, therefore, take no thought for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof." Slakia. So the point is seeking first the kingdom. You know, we have to have our mind and our eyes toward the kingdom. The scriptures say, if thy eye be single, let me see, is this the same one? Yeah, it says, yep. Come on. Well, let's do that. Let's read up a little bit. 19, it says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So again, your mind is on the Lord. Your mind is on the kingdom. You're racking up your spiritual bank account, and what's the word for it? Yeah, you're racking up your spiritual bank account to where, again, you have works that you've been going through. You have something to show for it, you know? And if you're not doing that, it's like that shows as well, like you're not even showing anything. You're not growing. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You know, it's one thing to be around brothers, laugh and everything like that, but that's not the goal, man. That's not something that is what's the word for it? Because again, it's a good thing to be around brothers and to laugh, everything like that, but if you're not growing, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, it's like it's all to no avail. It makes no sense. You know, what are we doing? You know, the scriptures say iron sharpeneth iron, right? If you're not doing anything, if you're not getting better, it shows you're not even really truly in this for Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. You're not truly in this we don't necessarily have the same mind. We necessarily don't have the same drive, the same goal, you know? So it's like, I remember it was like 2 camps ago, I believe. I think I did bring up the fact that, and brothers bring it up all the time, how like Vegeta and Goku in Dragon Ball Z, for those of you that watch Dragon Ball Z, when Goku rises, Vegeta rises. So it's like a rivalry, and that's actually healthy. That's actually a good thing. So they just constantly just want to get stronger. You know, that's how we gotta be, man. You know, so it's like one of those things where you're constantly growing, and you constantly have that same goal of getting there. You know. So because if you don't have that goal, if you coming in just to be like, you know, be buddy, be all, you know, like laughing all the time and want to hang out with brothers all the time and this, that, and the other thing, you're not necessarily like studying. You're just, you know, like you're not doing anything, and it's like you're gonna get left behind, you know, because, man, yo, and I was saying this yesterday. I remember back then when I was in school, you know, my mom at the time, she was telling me all the time, like, you go ahead and fool around all you want, then you're gonna see your friends pass, but then you're just gonna be left behind. You know, that has happened with people, with guys, because you see the popular kids, you know, that was popular back then. I remember it was this one kid. Yeah, he was popular and everything like that, but then he got left back, man. He got left back and had to see his friends move on to the next grade, and he had to stay back and had to repeat his grade again because he was so focused on being cool and being what's the word for it? Being around people, around friends, like, trying to fit in, all this stuff like that. Like, that's why a lot of these guys, like a lot of people, especially in high school, like popular and everything like that. But it's like, this is high school, man. This is like middle school, high school, around there, and that's embarrassing. So what more? There's truth. Like, you around brothers, you just want to be around brothers all the time and want to be buddy and everything like that. And then what happens when you're by yourself and you only have yourself? You're gonna look and like trying to look for another brother, and that's not having faith in the Lord. That shows that you're not even in it for the Lord. You're not even in it for the right reasons. You're just gonna be, again, left back. It says, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. Right? And that's pretty much the point. That's just straight to the point. Because, again, the eye being single, the eye being straight to as far as what? The kingdom. Again, I was saying as well when I was talking to somebody, he brought up the straight gate. The straight gate, and that straight gate that leads to the kingdom. Never forget your goal. No matter what, I'm not gonna let anybody steer me away from the goal, from the crown, from getting that crown, from getting to the kingdom, from being with Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. You see a brother, he's not doing so well, he's slacking, you help him out. But if he shows signs of just not even want to really do things, you gotta let him go, man, because it's like he then keyword becomes, he then becomes dead weight, because it's like you're not trying to carry him. You could be a crutch, you could try to help him out and everything like that, but it's not wise to feed him, as far as just like this. Again, that saying, you can bring the horse to the water, but you can't, or to the river, but you can't make him drink. So you have to, of course, bring him there. And if he's not wanting to drink, if he's not showing that he wants to be doing this, then you you're on your own, man. You're gonna be slowing me down, and that's not wise, man. That's the body, man. Going into the body, What's that? Hold up. Okay, I got it. This is 2 Corinthians chapter, or no, 1 Corinthians? It's 1 Corinthians chapter 11. Kind of going a little straight to the point. Verse 27. It says, wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself. Right? And mind you, again, if you drink it unworthily, it's a curse to you. Well, let me keep reading. It says, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup, for he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's what? Body. Because this is a body, man. You're drinking damnation to yourself. So, you're messing your own self up, And what does the scripture say? If thy left eye offend thee, pluck it out. You know, that goes as well when it comes down to somebody that's weak as well, man, and they're not doing their due diligence, and you're trying to help them out. They're becoming what? A dead weight. So you gotta let it go. You know, pluck it out. You know, it says, "For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep." For if we, yeah, right, yeah, con. It says, "For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged." Right, but when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. Wherefore, my brethren, when ye come together to eat, tarry one from another for another. It says, "If any man hunger, let him eat at home, that ye come not together unto condemnation, and the rest will I set in order when I come." So yeah, the chastening of the Lord. Um, that's a little something. But going into the body, man, the body. You're not realizing what you're doing. You're coming into something. You're not taking into consideration the body. You know, um, coming in for the wrong reasons, all the stuff like that. But dang, I can't think of any. Oh, give me a second. Go on, I got it. I got something. This is Revelation chapter 3. Yep, straight to the point. Verse 11. It says, "Behold, I come quickly." It says, "Hold at fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown." And that's the point, man. You don't want anybody to take your crown, man. You know, you don't want to be you don't want that person being the reason, this specific person being the reason why you didn't make it to the kingdom, you know? So it's one of those things again, being selfish. You know, there's nothing wrong with being selfish, and I realized that, man. Like, especially, I'll say, probably like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, not even, but now more than ever, I'm realizing you gotta be selfish. You gotta make sure you're good. You know, constantly examining yourself. You know, what's that? Revelation chapter 20. I'll start at verse 11. It says, "And I saw a great white throne, him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them." Again, that's Esau, Edom, the first heaven, the heaven that fled away. That's America. That's this place, right? It says, "And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before the Most High Yahweh, and the books were open, and other book, it's like and another book was open, which is the book of life, and the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works." See? It says, "The sea gave up the dead which were in it, and the dead and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged, every man according to their works." Okay? And that's how we are, man. We're judged individually. One brother can't help you out. This get you saved, and so long story short, we're here to save ourselves, right? This is Revelation, no, Galatians chapter 6. Yep. Let me read into it. Yeah, let me read into it. This is verse 1. It says, Brethren, if any man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual restore such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Bear ye one another's burden, and so fulfill the law of Hamashiach. It says, For if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself, right? It says, But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in his own, in himself alone, and not in other. So again, you doing that for yourself, man. You know, you, like, mind you, it's like one of those things where a goal that you set for yourself, and say, you know, the hard work that you did, man, you did that. Not anybody else. Nobody helped you, anything like that. You know, of course, through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, of course, getting us through. But like, us wanting to get through that and getting that goal to where we're learning, we're fasting, praying, getting in the spirit, we're growing, and you see that. You being getting to that goal, man. You did that. You went through that yourself. You know, proving your own selves, you know, your own work. Let me read that again. It says, But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone, and not another. It says, For every man shall bear his own burden. See? So you have to take up your cross. With it again in Matthew chapter 10 and verse like around like 30. Let me see. Salaki, I don't want to. 38, 39 or some around there. Yep. Wait. Yeah, 38. It says, And he that taketh not up his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. So, again, that cross, you know, that cross, man. Picking up your own burden. That's a burden, man. You know, we all are holding on our own burden. We're all carrying our own cross, man. We're not carrying anybody's, man. You gotta carry that. You're making your bed, you have to lay in it. You gotta make sure you're good. You know? It says, Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto himself that teacheth in all good things. Yeah, that's pretty much the point. Yeah, that's pretty much the point. Again, just your own work, man. You got to realize that this is a thing where we have to want it for ourselves. You know, we're not here because we want it because other brothers want it. No, that's the wrong way to think about it. And that's the thing too. That's also what I said yesterday. The guy that got held back. Now, and this is deep, because it's like one of those things where the guy that got held back, now his mindset is probably going to be on, I want to catch up to the brothers. I want to catch up to the guys. So he's going to do what he has to do and try to catch up to the guys. But that's a wrong spirit to have. That's a wrong mindset to have, because now you're focusing on trying to catch up to them, but you're not focusing on trying to catch up and trying to actually be for Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. You're not focusing on the kingdom. You're focusing on trying to catch up to them. It's not about catching up to them. It's about getting to the end, man. You know? This is a race. This truth is considered is like it's compared to as a race, you know. So again, it doesn't matter how fast you are. It doesn't matter how, as long as you're pushing, because every brother has their different levels. You know, it just so happens that, like, for instance, you know, I'm not here to, like, I know for a fact that I'm not able to be on par with Elder Tahar or Elder Orion Lab or you know, all these the elders that are above. It's not in me to do that. You know, can I get to that level? I mean, if the Lord, oh well, you know. Anyway, but the point is, as far as like, I'm not gonna try to be like Elder Tahar. I'm not gonna try to be like Elder Orion Lab or anything like that. I'm gonna go at my own pace. I'm gonna go in what the Lord sees. You know, the scriptures say that He will not give you something that you can't handle. You know, rough paraphrasing, so that you may be able to bear it. But the point is, as far as like, He knows every man, and that goes into the talents. Let's get that. What's that? 25. Yep. It says right here. Yeah, man. Oh, this is deep. This right here is key. This is yeah, man. I was talking about this too. Matthew chapter 25 and verse 14. It says, "For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his" what? "Several ability, and straightway took his journey." So this right here, don't take lightly, because this right here shows what the Lord is doing. There's going to be guys that have 5 talents. There's going to be guys that have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 talents. They're just born to be doing this, you know? El Tahar was born to do that. So it's like one of those things where don't get jealous. Don't try to be on this guy's level, you know? Don't try to you know, you focus on what you have to do and your level. The scriptures talk about search not out things that are too hard for thee, and that are above thy strength. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself before thy time? Why are you trying to go after things that clearly you're not able to go after? At least not right now, because you're at a low level. Can the Lord do that? Yeah, of course, the Lord can bring you up in a level, but you know, it's all, again, it's levels to these things. You can't just shoot up, and that's why a lot of these guys, they come and go, because they automatically think, oh, I could be like the apostles. I could be better, or I could do this and I could do that, and they come in and they end up destroying themselves, man. It's like this is why the truth is so beautiful, man, because not everybody can just come up and just think, oh yeah, I can do this, I can do that. Nah, man, you got to come through the start from the bottom and work your way up, man. This isn't something where you can just skip the line. No, man, it's not. The scriptures talk about that what's it? The ones that climbeth up some other way, you know? That's what it is, man. They don't want to go through the door, you know, which is Yahweh Shai. You can't just skip the line. You can't just do that. Is there guys that may have like learned it a little quicker than others? Yeah, of course. There's a lot of guys that's been, you know, that only been there for a specific amount of time, but shot up, you know. So, but at the same time, that's all of the Lord, man, you know. But it's still levels to these things, man. But let me keep reading. Salakia. So according to severability, and straightway took his journey. It says, then he that had received the 5 talents, he went and traded with the same and made them other 5 talents. See, 5 talents more, right? It says, and likewise, he that had 2 talents, he also gained another other 2. See, so it shows as far as like growing. So if I'm given $100, I gotta somehow make $200 out of this 100. You know, if I'm given something, I'm gonna give it back. You know, I'm gonna try to do better and try to make it grow. You know, so the point is, as far as growing, you know, you see the 5 talents, he was able to gain 5 talents more by what? This isn't something that you just naturally just is gonna get. No, it takes time, it takes work, it takes diligence, man. You know, it's not gonna happen overnight. You're gonna have times where you're gonna have to sacrifice. You're gonna have times where you're gonna have to sacrifice time and energy, all this stuff, and forget about the things as far as what? Having fun and all this stuff like that. You giving your life to the Lord, man. You know? It says, but he that received one, went and digged in the earth and hid the Lord's money. After a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them. So again, he hid his talent. He didn't do anything with it. You didn't do anything with it. You didn't even try to make something out of that. You know, that small thing. It don't matter if it doesn't matter if you know just a little bit. That little bit could have helped so many people. That little bit that you know could have helped a lot of people. You study, you gain more. You know, you got guys out there that aren't even trying to spread forth this word, man. They're not trying to learn more. They're just staying stagnant. They're just staying still. They're just not even showing any progress at all. You know, even it's funny because even in the world, you got guys that are striving to do better. You know, we are constantly changing. It's one of those things that's inside of us where we were made to continuously change. You know, that same thing over and over again. We have to realize that, again, us as humans, us as human beings, we are meant to change, you know, and meant to grow and constantly grow. You know, I can't help to think about Dragon Ball Z, because Goku, every single time he fights a person and trains for it. So many times he's been training, he gets stronger and stronger and stronger to where now he's fighting gods, you know? So he's on a whole different level. And it's like, what more of this truth? You continuously grow, you continuously doing the same thing. You're going to eventually grow if you continuously do the same thing over and over again. So it's like, it's really no excuse. Like, even I could say, as far as like, you know, the things I've been telling me over and over and over again, not scripture, but that saying, I believe I did say it yesterday, that repetition is the master of skill. You know, that is the truth, man. You continuously do something over and over again, you're clearly gonna get it right. You're clearly going to it's gonna come easier, you know? And oh man, somebody from the Dallas camp said this, and it stuck with me for a long time. You don't do something over and over again till you get it right. No, you do something over and over again so it's impossible for you to get it wrong. You know? So You hitting that. I remember talking to somebody too about it. Say, for instance, the bell. You hit that. You hit that thing where you hit the hammer, and you hit the bell. Yeah, everybody cheers, everything like that. But you don't stop there. No, you keep hitting that. You keep hitting the bell. You know, you got to try to keep having it to where you hit the bell every single time. You know, every single time. You know, it's one of those too. Like I remember, cause I'm into like the painting and the housing and everything like that, and there's guys that fall too much in love with their work, you know, and it's like, it's a good thing, you know, you did a good thing, but it's like, you got other things to do. That's what you did last week. What about this week? You know, that was last week. You got to have it to where you constantly doing good every single time. You're hitting that goal every single time, you know? Consistent. That's the key. It's work to get in. It's good. You got in. But it's work to what? To stay in. You know, you can't just be like, oh yeah, I made it. All right. Nah, man, you got to continuously prove yourself, man. Again, that no man take that crown. It's a seat where you got somebody can come out of nowhere and take your seat, you know? So you got to constantly just be growing, man. You know? Take not thy Holy Spirit from me. See? Salaki for my long wind. But this is really serious, man. You know? It shows as well, like, who's really for Yahweh Shem Yahushai and who's not. Like, you're just, like, are you here for Yahweh Shem Yahushai? Are you just here for the good times? Are you here just for the so-called, you know, good times? Which it is good times, sure, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, we are yet this day in our captivity. We're trying to get the heck out of here, man. There's nothing good about here, man. You know? Again, people trying to go through fame, all this stuff like that, get some sort of clout, you know? But verse 20, it says, so he that received 5 talents came and besought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. So that 5 talents gained more talents, and now he has something to show forth. That's that work being put in, you know? He's showing that, and it shows, man, because I know for a fact I was not the same person a year ago. I wasn't the same person 2 years ago. I'm way better than I was 2 years ago. You know, I could say as far as my speech, as far as my speakings, I'm a lot better, and that's call hello Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for that, man. You know, so you constantly doing this, you're gonna get better if you continuously do it. It's gonna be clear who's really growing and who's not, by the mannerisms, the way of a person talks, and everything like that. You know, it's gonna show who's really doing their due diligence, man. You know. So it says, let me skip down. Well, no, let's keep reading. It says, verse 21, his Lord said unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. Right? It says, skipping down to the 1 talent, right? It says, then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathered where thou hast not strawed. I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine. Right. So it says, his Lord answered and said unto him, thou wicked and slothful servant. Right? Slothful, again, you're slow. You're not up here, man. You're slow. So it's like, it says, thou knewest that I reaped where I sowed not, and gathered where I have not strawed. And again, it's like, you're not taking this seriously, man. You're not taking this serious. And it's like, is there times where we may slack? Yeah, of course. There's times where we slack. It's not, of course, being in this world, especially so many distractions, so many things we have to do as far as like paying bills. You got it. Nowadays it's normal for a person to have 2 jobs now. But at the same time, there's no excuse at all to not be able to do videos and to grow. There's no excuse at all. I believe I was listening to somebody about that not too long ago. I think it was Elder Rakah was talking about that. It says, thou oughtest therefore to put my money to the exchangers, and they at my coming and then at my coming I should have received mine own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which hath 10 talents. See? So took that Holy Spirit from you, right? Just took it. Because you ain't even doing anything with it. That's scary, man. You're gonna say what? I never knew you. It says, for unto every one that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And that's just straight to the point, man. It's just one of those, man, like, we got to realize, like, what we're involved in. We got to realize what the goal is, man. Seek ye first the kingdom. This is the goal, man. We can't forget why we're here. We can't forget what we're doing this for. If you're here just to be like, buddy, if you're here just to be, oh yeah, I like to be a part of something. You in the wrong crowd, man. We're again, the elect has that mindset of, I'm trying to get to the kingdom. I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. That's the first thing on their mind. And then the other things come in and everything like that. The journey to getting to the kingdom, the straight gate. Don't forget. Keep going straight. Don't get distracted by these other things, because it's going to distract you. And then what? That the test is going to come and you're going to fail and get left back, man. You're going to get left back. So you don't want to get left back, man. At all. That's the point. But with that, I pray that you've been edified. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect that are scattered abroad. And with that I say, Shalom.